Good evening, everyone. My name is John Eldred, principal of South Pasadena High School. In a few minutes, you're also going to see Vanessa Blackwood, assistant principal at South Pass, who is the head of our safety teams and committees on campus. We're going to be going through a couple things tonight that we share with our staff and our students, just to give you an idea of safety preparedness on campus. We have given the entire campus a social media strategies presentation over the last 2 years. Last year we did all four grades, and this year we did just the ninth grade at their orientation meeting right before school started to kind of give them an idea of the importance of digital safety and making sure that they use social media responsibly. So I'm going to take you through that, give you an idea of what the kids got a chance to listen to, and then we will roll over to Mrs. Blackwood and her presentation on the drills and other things that we do to keep students safe on campus physically. But let's talk about social media first. So one of the first things that we talk to the students about is that it's important for them to practice digital safety and responsibility. We urge them to never, ever share their information with anyone that they do not know. You shouldn't be talking to anybody about your address, your school, who your friends are, your first and last name, none of that stuff, because all of that can be used by people that have probably ill intentions at some point to do something that we would not like to happen. So we really impress upon kids to practice good digital safety. I think most students are hyper aware of this at this point, so we're just kind of driving home the idea that this is still a thing and you definitely need to be aware of your own digital safety. And another thing that we talk to them about, and I don't think they really realize, or maybe they don't believe, is that once information is online, it's pretty much impossible to reel it back in. So we really impress upon them, don't share stuff that you don't want other people to see because you might not be able to take it back. Okay, let's move to our next slide. So one of the things we also try and impress upon our students is for them to pause and think carefully. Give it a 3 count before you post something or message something to someone. The go-to that I use with kids is, would you say the same thing to their face? If the answer is no, then you definitely should not be posting it or sending a screenshot or anything of the like, because the bottom line is that you already know that it's probably the wrong thing to do, so just don't do it. And most of our social media issues that we have really are with our ninth graders, sometimes our 10th graders, rarely with our 11th and 12th graders. So we're really trying to get our youngest students on campus to really think deeply before they send something. And most of these students honestly have this sort of belief that any anonymous or fake accounts that they create can't be traced back to them. There's nothing further from the truth. Actually, they can be. And I always tell the kids in every presentation, one thing I've learned over 33 years of being in high school, there's always a kid that's going to tell me what I want to know. Sometimes I got to wait a week or two, but usually someone will roll and give me the information. For example, who's the student behind the fake account, etc. So we really try and encourage kids, again, to pause and think. Okay, let's get to our next slide. So we also discuss what cyberbullying is and what inappropriate online behavior is. And we give them a definition. Cyberbullying is using a digital or online platform to harm others, even if you think it's not harmful. And what I really try and drive home with the students is that it doesn't really matter what you think anymore. Well, I sent it and it wasn't that bad, or I sent it and I thought it would be funny. The litmus test now is the person on the other end who receives the picture, the post, the message, whatever it is. If they feel like they are being threatened, if they feel like they've been outed, if they feel like they've been made fun of, if they feel like they're in danger, God forbid, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth when you get to the assistant principal's office. It doesn't matter how much interference a parent or a guardian may try and run. None of that matters. If the student on the other end feels that they were being harmed in some way, that's when the discipline begins. We also try and let the kids know that we are always here if they want to report inappropriate behavior, and they should. If they see something, they should say something, and understand that if they are fully aware that a student is being threatened or is being outed in some way or shamed, if they know about it and they don't say anything, then they themselves can be considered an accomplice to cyberbullying. So let's move on to some laws that we put in front of the kids to help them understand. So 48900R about cyberbullying essentially explains what is cyberbullying and what laws we have to follow as administrators when meting out discipline for cyberbullying. So if it's a message, a text, a sound, a video, or an image, wherever it's posted, it doesn't matter. That includes burn pages. It also includes creating a credible impersonation of a person. So let's say, for example, and this has happened in other schools that we've read about in the news over the last 4 years, and actually it was kind of the impetus for us wanting to put this presentation together for our students. We had students that were putting faces of their classmates on the nude body of someone else. And they said it was a joke and they said it was funny. And the reality is, the people on the other end that saw those pictures were incredibly, incredibly damaged psychologically and emotionally by this happening to them. And so, again, it doesn't have to be their body. If it's their face and the other person believes that it's supposed to be them, then it's them. It doesn't matter what the person on the sending end believes. It matters what the student on the receiving end believes. And the same goes for creating a fake profile. If you create a fake Instagram, for example, of another student and post funny pictures of them to embarrass them, that is the exact same thing. It is that student believing that you are impersonating them. And again, that is cyberbullying. And again, that is when the discipline and the phone calls home begin. Let's look at the next set of laws, which are even scarier. This is cyber sexual bullying, also under 48900R. Too many numbers for me there. Cyber sexual bullying is essentially dissemination or solicitation or incitement to disseminate a photograph or a visual other recording of a pupil or pupil to school personnel by an electronic act, and most especially it includes nude, semi-nude, or semi-nude or sexually explicit photographs. Not only is this reprehensible and gross and horrible to do to another person, but more importantly, it is an extreme violation of our norms and our our code of ethics on our campus. And this is the sort of thing that can get students into a tremendous amount of trouble. It is impossible for us to save students from this sort of thing, especially when, I don't think I need to add, but I'm going to anyways, that we're talking about nude images of minors, which involves the South Pasadena Police Department as well. And nobody wants to have that experience. So let's move on to the next one. We're getting close to the end here. So consequences for this type of behavior that harms other students on campus. One of the things that students are unaware of is they think that if they post something from their bedroom on a Saturday night at 11 p.m., that I have no jurisdiction. They would be very, very wrong. I actually do have a tremendous amount of jurisdiction, as do the assistant principals, because if it targets a student on campus, if it threatens a student on campus, if it creates a sense of danger for students on campus, if it outs someone, impacts them negatively, embarrasses them, shames them, I have jurisdiction. It doesn't matter if you're in Greenland and send the text. I have jurisdiction. And when you get back from Greenland, you're going to end up in your assistant principal's office. So, what are some of the things that can happen? Behavior contracts or other restorative actions. If it's low level, we really do try and have conversations with kids about behavior so that we can change behavior. But we can increase from there to exclusion from activities such as dances, performances, field trips, athletic events, and even graduation. Detention and suspension are always on the table. And last but not least, if I have to exercise expulsion, which I would rather not do, I can. And if it is egregious and harmful, I most certainly will jump to expulsion for a student in order to keep our students safe on campus from cyberbullying and cybersexual bullying. All right, moving on. Here we go. So we're getting close to the end. We always tell the kids, be smart, be responsible, think twice. It can have consequences that last well beyond high school. I can assure you that colleges are doing a deep dive on your social media now. No one wants to admit to their university a person that has crazy extreme views or says horrible things to others, etc. Not only colleges are doing deep dives now, but for a fact, also businesses are when they are getting ready to hire you because it gives them a picture of what kind of a person they are going to be working at. At the end of this presentation, on the last slide, you'll see one of the things that we ask students to do is to sign our social and digital media safety agreement. And so the kids pull out their phones and scan the QR code, and then they sign this agreement. Some kids don't, most do. And then when they try and buy a ticket to a dance or an athletic game, or they try and be involved in some other activity, they are flagged as not signing the social and digital media safety agreement, and we make them do it if they want to go to homecoming or if they want to go to prom or whatever it is. Okay, so that's a little bit about what's going on as far as South Pasadena High School and social and digital media safety. Again, a presentation that we will be giving every year to our freshmen. And now, the amazing Mrs. Vanessa Blackwood.
Thank you, Mr. Eldred. Fine job. All right, so today I'm talking about safety on our campus, and our PTSA friends are going to show us their emergency drill schedule. We've already had a few drills the last 2 months that we've been in school. And so we start out with the fire drill always. And the kids are evacuated with their teachers to the surrounding streets of our school. And it's usually like a 4-minute process at the end of a class period that we do this. Last week we had a hard lockdown where I make an announcement over the loudspeaker, and all of the teachers follow the procedure in staying away from the windows, locking the doors, closing the blinds, just making sure it's a safe space for the kids if there are any police activity. As you could see on the schedule here, we've got next the Great California Shakeout in October. And this is a time where we actually evacuate to the field and sit together with our classes, and we check all of the school to make sure that nobody's left behind, and we just pretend the whole way out of it. We have pretend injured students waiting in classrooms to be saved. We try to run the whole gamut so everybody knows what to expect in a time of an emergency like this where we need to evacuate. And then coming up in November, we have a soft lockout. So we try to do these several times throughout the year so everybody's very clear. All of the students, all of the staff, all of the teachers are very clear about what the expectations are and how to keep our kids safe. All right, we're going to move to the preparedness page. And this is something that we put together with the district office to better communicate our expectations with our families. And when the page pops up here, we're going to see that we always start with Parent Square. If there's any kind of emergency, true emergency, we're going to communicate to everyone through Parent Square. So please make sure that your Parent Square is up and running. You receive the text messages and the emails. I'm sure you have already throughout the school year already. But the most important part here I want you to see is the pickup procedures. So in the event of an emergency, we want the kids to walk back in from school, but because of traffic jams or road hazards that could potentially happen depending on what the emergency is, we especially say do not stack or double park around campus. I already know that some students and families have been towed or received tickets already for double parking. It's an emergency problem. So we need to make sure that we follow that rule. Students must be picked up from the stadium at the football field at the Meridian Avenue gate. And so this is something that we're going to practice during the Great California Shakeout. We're going to ask that if a couple of parents come and pretend so they can help us with the student release area on the backside of the stadium on Meridian. And so what's going to happen is that you would need to bring your driver's license and to come pick up your student if something like that were to happen. And that it could only be an authorized adult who's listed in Aries, and we have all their information there to verify to make sure that the student goes home with the right person. And then some other things that you could do to help in these emergency times: follow all directions given in communication. We ensure that the contact information in Aries is up to date. If you prefer a certain person to pick up your student, make sure that's in your Aries. And we're just going to make sure that everybody is released at the right time and to the right person in that case of emergency. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to show you our school safety video. All of our teachers show their period 4 class this video just to make sure everybody's on the same page as far as what an emergency is, what are the possible emergencies that we have to work with and protect ourselves from, and who's like in charge and who's going to do what during this time. So this is close to 5 minutes, but it's the video that our students are shown every year, and it addresses all the important parts. So let's listen to it now. I'm not hearing the volume.
Procedures for an earthquake, fire, soft lockout, hard lockdown, and active shooter. We need to train and practice so that we know how to react, when to run, and how to hide until law enforcement arrives. Why is practice important? When there is an emergency, you may feel nervous, have an increased heart rate, feel scared, zone out, or be unable to focus. It is normal to have these feelings during an emergency or dangerous situation as your body goes into fight or flight mode. The more we prepare and train, the more calm you will be, the more likely your body will respond properly while under stress, and the more likely you will be to stay safe. Here are some tips to help prepare for emergencies on campus. Have a plan. Practice. Be prepared, stay calm, and listen. It is important to remain calm and follow directions from the adults on campus. What should I do in case of an earthquake? We need to drop, cover, and hold on to something. If you're outside, move away from all buildings. Listen to adults' directions. When the tremors stop, get ready to evacuate and line up at your designated area on the stadium field. What should I do in case of a fire? An alarm will sound. You must evacuate the building to your designated area on the campus perimeter and listen to the closest adult. If there is a fire during brunch or lunch, line up with your previous teacher. What should I do if I see something suspicious? If you see something, say something. Report what you know to a trusted adult, your parents, or law enforcement. What should I do in case of a soft lockout? A soft lockout means that there is a potential threat in the vicinity of campus. Close and lock classroom doors. Remain calm and continue instruction. Students who are outside or in the restroom must return to their classroom immediately. Listen for the all clear over the PA system. What should I do in case of a hard lockdown? This means that there is a potential threat involving intrusion and/or police action. During a hard lockdown, you must close and lock all doors. Close the blinds or curtains and turn off the lights. Move away from any windows. Remain calm and pause instruction. Do not let anyone in the classroom. Students who are outside or in the restroom should quickly go to the nearest classroom. If it is not possible to go to a classroom, hide and stay out of sight. Use run, hide, and fight strategies as appropriate. Listen for the all clear over the PA system. Why train for an intruder? An intruder is a potential threat on campus, including an active shooter. Know how to react, know when to run, learn how to hide, and know what to do when law enforcement arrives and what to expect. Where should I run? Run as far from the intruder as possible, like a local business, local church, a friend or family's house, or your home if nearby. Where should I hide? Lock the door and do not let anyone in. Barricade the door with heavy furniture. Cover windows, turn off lights, silence your cell phones, sit or lie on the floor and remain silent. How should I evacuate due to an active shooter? Leave your personal belongings, think about an escape route, and help others if possible. Run until you are in a secure place to hide. Keep your hands visible and your fingers apart. What should I do when law enforcement arrives? Do not open doors. SPPD and your administrators have keys. Keep your hands visible and fingers apart. SPPD's first priority is to locate and stop the intruder. Once campus is secured, first responders will work with school administrators to transport the injured, interview witnesses, and initiate the investigation. Let's review. Listen to adults, remain calm, follow procedures, and remember that practice makes perfect. Working together, we can stay safe.
Thank you. So that concludes our safety portion of our meeting tonight. Please let us know if you have any questions about hard lockdown, soft lockdown, fire drill, evacuation. But all of this is it's posted in our offices, and everybody on our campus knows exactly what to do because we practice it so often. So we just thank you for your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out and listening to us to talk about social media and safety.
Does anybody have any questions? Because I actually have questions. So because I'm new parents and I'm hosting this. But if you guys don't mind, there's a very distinct difference between a hard and a soft lockdown in terms of messaging and how it goes out to the community. There are even a pre-stage to the soft lockdown where I know nothing gets sent out. How are we dealing as a school to kind of prevent parents from bum rushing the campus, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a great question, because I mean, people are going to do what people do. Humans have natural instinctive reactions to protect their kids, and we can't fault them for that. We obviously, if we needed to keep parents away, we would try and message that relentlessly, especially because they could end up hurt. They could add to the problem, in the sense that law enforcement now has to deal with multiple other adults on campus and they don't know who's who. You can say that you're a community member and your kid's on campus, and who knows if it's the truth, right? So, yeah, parents need to trust us and trust the process, and let us do our jobs so that we can get their kids back to them as safely as possible, as quickly as possible.
That's it. Oh, sorry. Second question. Sorry, I'm new. I know there is a procedure in place to check the ID, God forbid, of the adult picker uppers.
Mhm.
And I've never witnessed this in action in terms of a safety event. How does that look like to you guys? Like, is there someone standing outside with an iPad checking people off? How does
Oh,
that
you
work?
bet, you bet. So when we evacuate to the field, our teachers take roll again. So we know that everybody who is supposed to be in their class that day is on the field. And then when the parents come up to the student release area, we have an assistant principal, we have counselors, we have the registrar, we have probably 8 to 10 people there at the tent at the table. And we already have everybody's profiles, all the student profiles in and notebooks. And so we could see like who belongs to who and like what's the name of your mom and all of that kind of information. We have parents' cell phones on there. God forbid if you lose your ID in the shuffle of everything. I bet there are other ways to also check. Like if I have your cell phone number, I would call it right there in front of you. Your phone will ring. I'll know it's you. The different like backup tricks also just in case. But that's pretty much what that looks like when the parents come up to the student release area. We are very prepared. Everything's ready to go out.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I assume there are no other questions.
No, I was going to add to that. I tried one year to pick up my children plus extra children. And to my surprise, one of my neighbors actually did put me down as one of the emergency contacts. So I was able to take extra children, and then not take a particular child. So they do check everything. It does work. Thank you.
Thanks,
That's
Grace.
a pro tip. Put Grace's name down. Be good.
Great.
Right. I think there's nothing in the text chat messages. I'm going to thank everyone for participating. This will be recorded and uploaded to the website shortly as soon as the cloud upload is complete. And everyone have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.